The movie starts showing a family. Here a man named Hal lives with his wife and son, and also likes to play the game of 80s. Because of this, he always had a fight with his wife, after which Hal comes to his room. Now we see him playing a game called Cursor, and now we see that the game starts running on its own in his PC, in which some levels are given to the Hal, which the Hal had to cross. In the first level, the game says to Hal that you are currently in a cage, and if you look at the life of the Hal, it is also completely game was right. Actually, Hal was in a cage, but here game tells Hal that you can't leave the game. The game then asks Hal, "Are you worthy of winning the prize from this game?" And Hal does not answer, after which he drinks his wine and puts the bottle on the table. But then we see that game tells Hal that you just put the bottle of wine on the table, and now Hal is quite surprised to see it. Game then asks Hal if he wants another drink, to which Hal types, "Yes, I want another drink." And as soon as we see another bottle is placed on the table, in truth, Hal starts to get surprised after seeing this. After that, the game asks Hal to turn the light on or off, to which Hal types off response. Then the lights in the room are turned off. But after that, game asks the Hal, "What do you want now? Your son's tongue or your wife's ears?" Now seeing this, Hal gets scared and no one answers because it all seems strange. But then the game repeatedly tells him to choose or die. But even so, Hal starts to walk away without answering. But then suddenly he starts making scary and strange sounds. Hearing this, Hal's ears start to hurt, but soon after, Hal walks out of the room and sees that his wife has cut out his son's tongue because she has a knife in her hand. But despite this, Hal's wife says that I don't know how all this happened. Hal is quite alarmed to see this, after which we see the same game in the room, which says first level completed, from which we understand here that this game actually tampers with reality. That is, it plays with the lives of many people, after which it takes control of humans and makes them complete its levels, after which we see a scene 3 months later. Here, a girl named Gayla is working her night shift and leaving the company where she used to work. Gayla goes straight to her friend, who is actually a games inventor. He designed the game himself. From this, we can know that originally Gayla was also very fond of designing games, but due to her constraints she can't do all that things, but she is quite good at repairing things. Here, Gayla's friend tells him, "I ordered a lot of gaming stock." She starts looking at the stuff. She finds the same game in this junk. That is the Cursor game, the same game that we have seen at the start of the movie. Now seeing the price of $125,000 on its cover, Gayla is immediately surprised that how can someone pay so much money to win such an old game. She starts watching the CD of the game, in which a man is telling you that you can actually win money. Now this man is none other than Hal, who we saw at the start of the movie. She says, "Why don't we both win this game together? Then we will split the winning money in half." Hearing this, Gayla's friend says, "Okay, we'll play this game and win, but for now, we'll talk about it later." After hearing this, Gayla takes this game and goes with her. Well, Gayla goes to a cafe early after work and she sits there and starts the same game from her laptop. She asks her friend to bring her here too, but her friend is so busy in his work that he doesn't reply her message. Now we see in the laptop that the Cursor game is also started, which asks Gayla whether you are able to get prize money or not. After which the game asks Gayla whether you want coffee or cake, and then Gayla sees in the menu card that only coffee and cake order is written here too. Soon after that, the waitress brings coffee to her. Now she is quite surprised to see that because she were not asked waitress to bring coffee. She had only typed in the game, but here Gayla also sees that whatever the waitress is saying is already being typed in the laptop. Now here the game asks her to take a break, but this time Gayla doesn't answer anything and closes her laptop. Soon after, the cafe disappears from her side, leaving only fog. Just then, a small boy comes in front of Gayla, who tells Gayla to choose or die. Seeing this, Gayla gets quite nervous, and she opens the laptop to take a break and yes types on it. Now as this happens, the waitress of the cafe comes and starts breaking the glass, after which game asks Gayla, should she keep breaking the glass or clean it up? To which Gayla asks to clean up the game, to which the waitress starts eating the broken glass pieces. And while doing this, blood starts coming out of his mouth. Then seeing this, Gayla rushes to him to stop him. But suddenly the owner of the cafe also wakes up, after which he's in a strange state. He starts making very strange noises like scary sounds from his mouth, after which Gayla pushes him to stop the waiters, after which we see in the laptop that the first level is complete. When Gayla opens her eyes the next morning, she finds a police officer at her house investigating her mother. Originally, he came to Officer Gayla's house to investigate the cafe incident. Here we find that from their conversation, that the little boy who showed Gayla up last night was because of the game. He was none other than Gayla's brother actually, who died some time ago due to drowning in the pool. Then Gayla asks her friend, "Where did you get this game?" But Gela's friend doesn't know anything about it. He says, I just bought it like that. But yeah, I'll definitely try to track this game down. After that, Gela leaves here and goes to her night duty. She is doing her work when suddenly at 2 o'clock in the night, she gets a call from her mother, in which she tells Gela that through the walls, the rats are coming out and then they attack his mother. And then we see that there is actually a PC on the same floor that suddenly has that cursor game started. Then Gela quickly goes to the PC and sees that the level 2 of the game has started. As soon as the level 2 starts, a game also starts playing on the screen in which Gela has to save a character from rats. That character was none other than Gela's mother. Now here, Gela hears the voices of her mother saying to Gela that, daughter, please save me from these rats. They are very dangerous. After which the game gives Gela 2 choices and asks her to move forward. Now Gela has to save her mother from the rats that are constantly following her. So Gela quickly tells her mother to jump out of the window quickly. Then her mother has to jump out of the window to avoid the mouse, and the second levels also end here. After that, the game tells Gela that we will meet tomorrow night at the same time. Seeing this, Gela gets so angry that she picks up the PC and throws it on the ground and starts breaking it. But then an employee of the company fires Gela from her job. But after that, Gela comes to her mother in the hospital because her mother was injured due to jumping from the window. That's why she was admitted in the hospital. She asks Gela that why you are so worried. Your job is going well. But here Gela does not tell her mother anything about her problems. After which Gela comes home and sees that the rats are really there. They came to his house and destroyed his whole house. At the same time, Gela's neighbor comes to the house and seeing the condition of the house, he says to Gela that now the owner of the house will definitely throw you out of this house. Then in the night, Gela goes to her friend, and she also tells him about this game means that this game really works. She also shows her friend pictures of her broken home, which convinces Gela's friend, so Gela's friend agrees to join her in the game. She tells her friend that the game starts by itself at 2 o'clock in the night, and we can never start the game other than that time. Then both of them try to close the game and its sound by making changes in the code of the game, but after some time, 2 o'clock in the night also happens, and the game starts again by itself. Now here they turn off the sound of the game, but they can't turn off the game, because level 3 has started there. Here we see that the game has found out that now Gela's friend is also going to play this game with him. Then as Gela's friend says, the game is exactly typed the same. At the same time, the game asks Gela whether she wants her friend's help or not. At first, Gela refuses to take help from her friend. But then Gela suddenly starts hearing loud voices, after which she says yes to the game to get her friend's help. Now seeing this, Gela's friend also starts to panic. Now the game gives them the next level. Suddenly 2 doors appear in front of them. One is blue color, and one is red color. These people have to choose one of the 2 doors. Now these 2 go to these doors and check them. They seem to hear no sound from inside the 2 doors, but here Gela chooses the red door and walks in, after which his friend also goes inside behind him. Then here Gela sees his younger brother who was dead. He is running there, and now Gela also starts following him. Although her friend tries hard to stop her, she does not stop. After that, Gela and her friend run to a bridge. There is a lot of fog here. Suddenly Gela's brother comes out and he attacks his friend, due to which Gela's friend dies here. Here the game asks Gela a question that do you want your brother alive or your best friend? Now here Gela realizes that the game is actually trying to trap her, but she still chooses her friend instead of her brother. After which suddenly his brother comes alive and attacks Gela. He has to kill his brother by strangling him, but actually we also know this, and Gela also knew that she did all this in the game. Not really, because Gela knew that her brother was not real, so she killed her brother. Immediately Gela's friend regained consciousness, and with that, level 3 would have ended. In the morning, Gela and her friend were talking to each other, but Gela was thinking that she was responsible for her brother's death, because she used to always take her brother for swimming. But then one day she was distracted for a while, which led to his brother's death by drowning. Hearing this, Gela's friend tells him to forget the old things. You have to forgive yourself. Meanwhile, Gela's friend starts reading a magazine, where he finds out about 80s game where kids used to hack phones and play games for free so that they don't have to pay for the phone and the game. Because of this hacking, they start gathering information about people. Now Gela's friend hacks the cursor game to an address, after which they both quickly leave to visit the place. But when they reach there, they see that the door is closed, but they still pass over the door and enter. But when she gets there, she finds a big hole, after which Gela starts calling the given number. After which the phone starts ringing right here. While following the sound, they both go into another state where they find a running tape recorder, after which they both follow the cables into a room where they find a disc called Cursor Beta upon searching through the old equipment. After that, Gela's friend plays the disc in the computer lying around, which is quite old, and they see a person in the computer. He designed the game and he is also the host of the game. Gela's friend tells him, why don't we take him with us? But then we see that he listens to the game. After that, the game starts there. After that, the game inventor comes forward. He says that you will have to pay for chatting, then traps Gela's friend in an invisible chamber, and game tells Gela that you have to choose replay or fast forward. Hearing this, Gela chooses to fast forward to see her friend's condition. His choice to fast forward causes a reel of tape to come out of his friend's mouth. Gela tries to stop him, but she can't. After this time, Gela's friend's condition worsens, and he dies shortly after. Now the 4th level is completed as soon as Gela's friend dies, after which the last level was left, the 5th level. After which Gela starts going from here to the middle of the forest. Meanwhile, he gets a call from his mother, but his neighbor is talking on his mother's phone. After hearing this, Gela tells him to give the phone to my mother and let me talk to her, but he doesn't listen to Gela. He doesn't talk to her mother. After that, Gela gets out of the car and starts going into the forest where she sees a very beautiful house, and after that Gela starts going inside that house, and we find out that the house is not someone else's. Rather, it is of the hall. The one we saw at the beginning of the movie. Now seeing Gela here, Hal asks her, who are you, and what are you doing here? Now Gela replies to her that I did not come here myself, but I am the player of the game, and the game sent me here. At the same time, we see that his wife is sitting in front of the Hal, in a very scared and awkward position. Now the Hal tells him the game said, I will leave you if you make copies of me. So we can understand how the game got to Gela's friend, and it is not known which people will have the game. At the same time, the 5th level of the game. The last level starts in Gela's mobile, hearing the sound of which the Hal's son runs away from here. Here the game tells Gela that now you have to defeat Bose. Now hearing this makes Hal very angry. According to him, the boss is himself, and the hero of this game is Gela, and now he feels bad. Then Gela picks up the knife lying on the table, but before that, Hal picks up a plate from the table and hits her on the head. Now because of his hitting the plate, nothing happens to Gela, but on the contrary, he is injured, which means that when Hal hits Gela, then it is not Gela who gets hurt, but he himself. When Gela kills herself, then the Hal will be damaged. Gela is understood, so she starts cutting her own hand with the knife, due to which nothing happens to her, but Hal's hand is cut off. Here Hal's son comes and shoots Gela, due to which the bullet does not affect Gela but her father. Now Hal's wife also understands this whole situation. That's why she comes to kill Hal after taking the gun from her son. Because she knows that if Gela gets shot, then her husband will die, because actually she was fed up with her husband and wanted to kill him, and she wanted to do it because Hal had tortured him enough recently. And now Hal's wife starts beating Gela, but then Hal goes there and grabs the gun from her and then starts shooting himself. But there are no bullets in the gun, because of which he does not die. Nothing happens to him. Then here the son of the Hal comes with a knife, but Hal snatches the knife from him, after which he slits his own throat, where now the injury is to Gela. That is, now Gela's throat is cut, after which Gela takes a stone and jumps into the water, after which we see that due to the filling of water in Gela's body, water starts coming out from inside Hal, after which both of them die here. But soon after that, we see that Gela does not die, but her life is saved. Now the game ends here then. When Gela gets out, Hal's wife thanks him for saving her life from her husband. Right after we see Gela getting the prize of the game, which in that she can control the game in her own way. After that, Gela hacks her neighbor's mobile who used to bully her and makes him a part of the game, where she later challenges and brutally kills him. Gela receives a call from a man who actually owns the same company Gela used to work for. Here he asks Gela, who do you want to hurt through this game now? Hearing this, Gela says that I will only hurt those who are bad people. I will only hurt those who are worth it, and the movie ends with Gela saying that. Hope you liked today's story.